Welcome to Jersey's Best Podcast, a weekly deep dive into everything that makes New Jersey spectacular, bizarre, beautiful, sometimes annoying, but always the best. My name is Jeremy Schneider. I'm a food and culture reporter for NJ.com and the Star Ledger, and I'm also your host. As always, you can follow Jersey's Best Podcast on... I messed that up. As always, you can send episode suggestions, guest ideas, and questions our way at jerseysbestpodcast@gmail.com. And follow us at Jersey's Best Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky. We're posting memes and podcast clips and all sorts of fun stuff over there. Check it out. This week, Jersey's Best Podcast is going to the Meadowlands because summer 2025 is the busiest in MetLife Stadium's history. The 15-year-old venue has hosted everyone from Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar to Zach Bryan and Oasis this summer. No disrespect to Queen Bee and King Kendrick, and apologies to Liam and Noel, but the biggest events at MetLife this summer are coming on August 9th and 10th, when on back-to-back nights, the stadium will host two massive New Jersey bands. On August 9th, My Chemical Romance, whose members hail from Belleville and Kearny, are bringing the Black Parade, not to mention black eyeliner and black nail polish, to the Meadowlands for their biggest home show ever. The next day, Wyckoff's favorite sons, the Jonas Brothers, take the stage to kick off their Greetings from Your Hometown tour. The show comes months after the band took over American Dream for JonasCon, a celebration of the band's 20th anniversary. This is the first time either band has played MetLife Stadium. Using New Jersey math, these are the biggest, most important shows both bands have ever played. But which band is bigger? Which band is better? And most importantly, which band is most Jersey? Welcome to Jersey Battle of the Bands, Jonas Brothers versus My Chemical Romance. We're determining which is the greatest Jersey band of the 21st century today. For this very special edition of Jersey's Best Podcast, we will be joined by two guests, each making the case for their band. I will serve as the judge to determine the winner in this Jersey Battle of the Bands. In the Jonas Brothers corner, wearing a black Jonas Brothers shirt from 2009, is Katie Kausch, a JoBros superfan who happens to be a data reporter for NJ.com. We're going to refer to her as Katie K for reasons that will soon be very obvious. Katie K, welcome to Jersey's Best Podcast.
Thank you for having me. Always love a good argument.
So do I. That's why I'm a podcaster. In the My Chemical Romance corner, wearing a black My Chemical Romance shirt, shocker, is Katie Burke, a My Chem devotee, Central Jersey lifer, and friend of the pod. She will be known as Katie B. Katie B, welcome to Jersey's Best Podcast.
Thank you for having me as well. I also love arguing.
So many Katies, so many bands, so much Jersey, so much podcast to do. Let's do it. We're going to get down to brass tacks soon enough. But before we begin the battle, I just want to hear from both of you. Why are you here today? What got you into these bands so deeply that you're now defending them in a Jersey court of musical law? Katie K, let's hear for you first on the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about the Jonas Brothers that makes them so Jersey and, you know, just a great band in general is that they have the, like, you know, they came from basements. They came from the Starland Ballroom. They didn't kind of just like pop up out of nowhere like 5 Seconds of Summer. Sorry, 5 Seconds of Summer.
Shade.
You know, they did the thing. They wrote their own music. They toured in the vans and whatever. And then as soon as they got the Disney deal, they came back. They proved that they had staying power. As soon as they kind of hit that midpoint of being a band, they did that cool, like, I'm better than you thing and broke up in very dramatic fashion, which, like, I love drama. And I think especially being like 12 at that time, there was something really, really special about that being a shared experience. And to be clear, I also love My Chem, but I didn't have that same sense of sisterhood and shared experience with listening to My Chem as I had with the Jonas Brothers. And frankly, I think the chart data kind of bears out that the Jonas Brothers are a bigger band.
That will definitely come up. Katie B, why are you defending My Chem today?
I'm a diehard My Chemical Romance fan. The kind of like lore behind me getting into this band, I brought my prop today.
Let's go. She's got props.
Weirdly enough, I got a stereo system when those used to exist at a yard sale, and it had a burned copy of My Chemical Romance.
Oh my gosh, you are already winning this debate.
Inside of it. So I kind of got, I don't know what was on this beforehand. It's crossed out. We'll never know. But it was 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. So I printed out my own album art. This was DIY
That's
at
dedication.
home. Yeah, so that's kind of like how I discovered the band. And this was pre-internet, so I was kind of like scavenger hunting around, rifling through like the bones of Wikipedia of what it was at the time, trying to figure out like what were the band's names, what was the track list, and I don't know, I just loved the album immediately. It was cinematic, it was campy, it had vulnerable pageantry vibes. Gerard Way just did such a good job of storytelling through these songs. It's obviously like one cohesive story, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, and just like the world building that they did as a 13-year-old girl in suburbia. It was a really interesting switch up from A-Teens and Ashley Simpson to listen to 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. And the album just felt really like personal, but also grand. It was brutal, but it was really beautiful. So it just stuck with me, and I brought it along on all my family car trips to Florida, listened to it in my CD player, and eventually did actually buy the album. So I own multiple versions of the actual CD, etc.
You wouldn't pirate a movie, would you? Pirate 3 Cheers. The only thing I didn't like about that was the slight Ashley Simpson shade, but we're going to let that slide.
No shade, no shade.
All right, I clearly have the right 2 people here for this debate. Here's how it's going to work. This battle will be broken down into 5 categories: concert experience, musical influence, cultural influence, star power, and jersey credentials, obviously most important. Each guest will be given time to make the case for their band in each category. As the judge, I will name a winner in each section. Whichever band wins the most categories wins the battle, and their fans get a special prize. There will also be, I forgot to mention this, at the end of this, there will be a chance for, before I make my ruling, both contestants will have a chance to make a final argument. Are the Katies ready for the Jersey Battle of the Bands?
We're ready.
Born ready.
This is so exciting. I'm having so much fun. The first category, concert experience. Who puts on a better show? Katie B, please make the case for My Chemical Romance.
Absolutely. So concert experience to me is kind of a slam dunk for My Chemical Romance. I would say that their shows have evolved into what's essentially an immersive theater experience. They have a basement show energy, but also they have like these radio-friendly hooks that make them super accessible to the larger public. And I think that's what their whole vibe as a band is. Like they're this emo band, they're this hard band, but also they're just like these dorks that started playing in their garage and they live down the street from you. And I think a lot of their shows have this like dark romantic horror style imagery where it's really honest and raw, but it feels inclusive. It's very like theater kid, Rocky Horror type of vibe. Sent as compliment. I'm a huge Rocky Horror fan.
Major compliment. No, trust me.
Yeah, and their current tour, no spoilers.
No
spoilers. But obviously there's a lot of audience interaction. There's actors, there's political commentary. I think it changes up each night. Like, that's insane. That's a concert experience. Even their most stripped down shows, it's a wailing anthemic production of Gerard Way just like rolling around on stage. There's always sets, there's always fire. It's just a good time.
You've made a very good case, but Katie K, can we hear the case for the Jonas Brothers live concert experience?
Yeah, I think the case is almost the exact opposite, and it's that it's really, really consistent. Mm-hmm. Like you go to a Jonas Brothers show and you know what you're gonna get. I mean, probably with the exception of that one big Yankee Stadium tour they did where they played like a little bit of every song. Mm-hmm. They kind of play the hits. So you go, you know exactly what you're going to sing along to. You know, like when Kevin's going to do his little like dance, which I think he actually might have stopped doing.
I don't know about this dance. Tell me
no,
about
that's
this
as much dance as you're getting.
Oh, no. I don't need to see it. Just tell me. What, get dance?
Yeah, during SOS, he like puts his like arms out and then like does like a little shimmy before he plays guitar again. But it's the same every single time. It almost reminds me of Pete Wentz's like during Sugar We're Going Down. Mm-hmm. And you know, My Chem is different every night, so you kind of don't really know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. And if you go on a night where you don't love the set list, it's like, I just paid all this money for this ticket. And I like that when you see the Jonas Brothers, they sound pretty much exactly like the album. That might not work for some people, but for me, I like the consistency. I like the sing-along ability. And I don't think I've ever seen so many like young people crying in one place ever than at a Jonas Brothers
and nothing like seeing a bunch of young people crying, right? You both made very good cases. On one hand, like Katie B said, My Chem, known for pageantry and theater. They dress as a marching band for their alter ego, the Black Parade. They're bringing that back. They did that for the Black Parade tour. They're bringing that back now. For that first tour, Gerard Way was wheeled out on the stage on a gurney, and he was the patient. The things he does for these shows are insane. They invented the fictional country of drag for this tour, and they made a whole new language for it. It's absolutely insane. I mean, the things they're doing for this are insane. On the other hand, the Jonas Brothers, their most recent tour, 5 albums, one night, the world tour, had a 67 song set list. Rolling Stone compared it to their Eras tour and said it was Bruce Springsteen-esque. The guests they bring out are wild. They brought out Jimmy Fallon, Michael Bublé, Jack Black, and Switchfoot on their most recent tour. That's really insane. both of these bands put on really great performances. But in this category, I give the edge to My Chem. Both two very good arguments, but the theater, the pageantry, the costumes. So right now, 1-0 for My Chemical Romance. The next category, musical influence. Which band has made more of an impact musically? Katie K, we're going to switch it up. Have you make the case for the Jonas Brothers first.
Well, this is good because the data does support my point. So the Jonas Brothers have had one number one hit, 26 songs have charted, and they've had 3 top 10s. My Chem has had no number one hits. Only 9 songs have charted, one of which was with the Used, so not like they had a little bit of help, and 1 top 10 hit. So, I mean, sure, don't get me wrong. My Chem was everywhere for that really brief moment in time, but the Jonas Brothers are everywhere all the time. I don't think you can go into a Target without hearing either, the Jonas Brothers or DNCE or Nick Jonas. Not Nick Jonas in the Administration, though. That one was a little bit of a flop. But, they're everywhere. They're in everything. In a way that I just don't think My Chem is, even though they clearly have cultural significance.
Bring a data reporter to the debate, you're going to get some data. And that's a very, very strong case. Katie B, what about the musical impact of My Chemical Romance?
So I would argue that data and numbers might not necessarily translate to a level of impact. I would say, maybe there's different hits on the chart, etc. But I was gonna make a list of all the things My Chem has been nominated for, what they've been a part of, and it got too long, so I didn't include it.
Ooh. Excuse me.
I would just say that over and over again, publications such as Kerrang have described them as one of the most influential rock groups of the 2000s in emo and pop punk, even though the band rejects the label of emo.
Very much.
I'd say Kerrang, their quote was that no other band has had more of an impact on 2010s music than MCR, despite their inactivity throughout most of that time. When the band broke up, I think it was 2013, they were still impactful throughout that decade. And that's a span of 20 years, so that's a whole big moment. I would say that they were kind of like misfits who infiltrated the mainstream, but then they also redefined it. They took what emo was at the time, and then they made it stylish, they made it visual. I would say that influenced bands like Paramore, Panic at the Disco. And then I did list out some of the major tours that they were staples in. So the first Taste of Chaos, they were the opening act for the American Idiot Tour, Warp Tour, Bamboozle, countless others. And I would just argue that songs like I'm Not Okay, Helena, The Black Parade are generation defining. The foothold that those songs have to this day on wedding receptions, local emo nights, memes. When you think of emo night, it's gonna be some sort of tagline.
Emos.
Yeah.
So on one hand, we have a very data-driven argument. On the other, we have tugging for the heartstrings. When I think about it, I have 2 very good arguments. Once again, the Jonas Brothers have a lot of hits, but when it comes down to it, I still think that My Chem was more influential musically. Not only, I just think they're more unique. They, if we're gonna list the genre, just trying to define My Chem, their genre is. We could do a whole podcast just on that. It's goth, theatrical, alt, emo, pop punk, post-hardcore, punk. They have prog influence, metal influence, glam influence. They've been influenced by Queen, the Misfits, Black Flag Thursday. Jeff Rickley produced their first album, Smashing Pumpkins. They're this weird dark opera thing. Jonas Brothers seems a little more straight-laced. I was listening to both of them on the way here. And I have been for most of the past few days. It's been a very fun few days. A lot of sad and happy music at the same time. The Jonas Brothers are kind of a generic pop group, and My Chem, My Chem is you hear one note from Gerard Way, and you're like, oh, that's My Chemical Romance.
The Black Parade note.
The one single.
Iconic.
Look, and what really sealed it for me with your argument and just in my own research for this. My Chem has been compared to Nirvana, and that's insane. Dan Ozzie wrote a really good book called Sell Out, and it's about a bunch of bands as they were making their as they were making their leap to major labels, and because every label was looking for the next Nirvana because Nirvana was so influential. My Chem helped put emo not just typical emo, but you have Machine Gun Kelly, Olivia Rodrigo, Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, Paramore, all of these bands emo completely broke barriers past just emo to almost every other genre. So I'm giving the edge to My Chem here. The numbers don't lie, but the feelings don't lie either. So now it's 2-0 My Chem. Let's go to the third category, cultural influence. Which band has the most cultural impact? Katie B, you're going to go back to My Chem for you on this one.
Sure. So, I think high level, it's kind of what you just said. Like any conversation about bands where you bring up the emo sound, like My Chemical Romance is going to be part of that conversation. They were essentially the blueprint for the entire like vibe of emo, like pale face, black hair, red tie, the black shirt, like that is My Chem. I would also argue, I agree with you. They sort of like redefined emo as a genre. The media kind of painted emo to be like dangerous. There was a lot of, I think it's on their Wikipedia page, it's like a conspiracy or whatever the word for that is about how this magazine was like aligning them with like blaming them for suicides and stuff like that.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, I might be kind of misinterpreting what happened, but I think that the band's response to that was really impressive, and they kind of took like being vulnerable and like carved out a space of belonging for their fans. And I think the duality of that dark mystique layered with their approachability is kind of like what gave them an impact. And I'm losing my train of thought. So they responded to those allegations by saying that they were like here to talk about it. Like, I'm not okay and that is okay. Let's talk about it. They reframed it. And especially like the music video for I'm Not Okay, like you can't swim, you can't dance, you don't know karate. Like it's all about being this like misfit who felt isolated and weird, and fans were really able to like hold on to this. Like they made emo approachable, and that took them. So they were both airing on MTV. Gerard Way was on the cover of my Y14 magazines at the same time. I think it was really just like the space that they created for their fans, the like foothold that they really secured for themselves in the like whole aesthetic of being emo. And then I would be mistaken if I did not bring up the whole infamous domino effect, their cultural impact of Stephanie Meyer's writing Twilight being inspired by their music, and then that inspiring 50 Shades of Grey. Like, that is a cultural ripple effect.
Thank you so much for that. Wow. I'm fine with Twilight. 50 Shades of Grey, not as much. But you, point made. Katie K, what about the cultural impact of the Jonas Brothers?
Yeah, it's hard to compete with saying that a band caused the downfall of Ellen DeGeneres. To be fair.
That is the truth, Ellen.
I think it comes down to breadth versus depth, right? I think My Chem had a lot of depth in a very specific subset, but I think the Jonas Brothers have more, it's a wider kind of range. Whether, how you value that, I don't know. You know, though, so hopefully. But, yeah, I mean, you're not going to see Gerard Way on Broadway. You are going to see Nick Jonas on Broadway. You're not going to see, Mikey on the cover of Vogue, but I'm pretty sure Vogue covered Nick's wedding, right? And if I'm wrong, don't tell me. And they have done things to raise awareness, right? Like all of Nick's advocacy work for people with diabetes, and again with the crying, but like people heard a little bit longer, and like really, I think that was for the first time a lot of people realized like, oh, chronic illness exists, and that's like a real thing a lot of people deal with or will deal with at some point in their life. So it's hard because I think part of their cultural impact is that they're just kind of like, they're nice and even, right? Like it was a very tumultuous time when they came up, but they were a nice, like, you could listen to it with your mom and it would be fine because it was nice and poppy. And maybe if your dad was more into rock, you could listen to it with them. And, the J14 posters, they made really nice wallpaper in my bedroom for a while, which everybody in my house loved. So it's maybe not quite as like pointed, but I don't think it needs to be pointed. It's more of like a blanket over everything.
I think that you're hitting the nail on the head with that one. For me, My Chem's music is clearly more adventurous and more ambitious and more influential, but culturally, the Jonas Brothers were everywhere. Like you said, you could hear them on Target. You could listen with your parents. I think that even if you weren't a giant Jonas Brothers fan, like I was never, I didn't grow up listening to Jonas Brothers. I think I was a little too old for that. But like, even if you didn't, like, if you can't name a song, you know who they are.
Yeah.
Like they're an omnipresent band. Like even if you couldn't name one of them, you're just like, I know who the Jonas Brothers are. Like, of course. I think I got to give the edge to the Jonas Brothers in this one. So it is, cultural influence goes to...
Oh yeah, and they were on South Park. I can't believe
the Jonas
I forgot all
Brothers
about that.
were on South Park. Bobby,
wow.
I love that Bobby has the notes app, or he can write it to me in the document, but he decided to give us a cue card. As if I was already leading this way. Jonas Brothers were on South Park. That's a big deal. Like and if you're big enough to get made fun of on South Park, you got to be pretty big. So cultural influence goes to the Jonas Brothers. They've cut into the lead. It's currently 2-1 My Chem. Anyone's game. This case has not been decided yet. We're going to another one. I'm very, very curious for this one. Star power. Which band has more star power? Katie K, please make the case for Jonas Brothers.
Do we mean star power like star power as in je ne sais quoi, or star power as in like flashing lights paparazzi stardom?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, listen, I found them when I was in middle school. Obviously, you're gonna love them. They're very handsome young men, or I guess almost adult, like fully adult men at this point. But they like My Chem didn't have a Married to Frank Iero show on E, and
Frank Iero does follow this podcast on Instagram though. Thanks for that, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, they were on red carpets and they were on like your mom's morning shows, and they literally were everywhere in a way that My Chem probably doesn't want to be frank. Like part of it.
Frank Iero.
All right, pun actually not intended with that one, but they are truly celebrities, which you could argue is a bad thing, but I'm gonna argue is not, because it's fun. Like it's probably really fun to be famous, and there's the scenes in their like concert TV or concert movie spectacular of the people running down the road like chasing and yelling. That's stardom, like Beatles level stardom. And I think a lot about a Rolling Stone article right at the very peak of their popularity when they were on tour with Demi Lovato about the neurochemical effect that happens when you get a room full of screaming young women together, like in close capacity. And yeah, sure, I get that it is like a neurological thing, but I don't think you get that effect without star power. Like the only other band I think I've seen that with is probably One Direction, which is they are like definitely bigger than probably both these bands.
One Direction not mentioned on Jersey's podcast right now, but no, the star power is undeniable. What about the star power for My Chem, Katie B?
I will admit it is hard to compete with boy band heartthrobs, and the Jonas Brothers were these Disney guys, like they grew up. I think my best argument here is to take the angle that Gerard Way has that performance passion. Their concerts compared to the Jonas Brothers concerts, like, again, even though they have like this darker vibe, like they make fans feel like it's okay to be different. They're able to see themselves in him. I think he drew a lot from his background as an artist, so his music really resonates with a lot of people, and he kind of like pours it all out when he's on stage. In their 2022, 2023 tour, he changed outfits like every night, and the whole internet was kind of following along like, oh, is he gonna dress like a children's Bat Halloween costume tonight or a cheerleader? And I was so here for all of it. It was amazing. They were signing Lore to it, so I see it just goes back to the variability versus the consistency. I think it's, if you're looking for this like anthemic, theatrical, crazy performance, or if you want like that boy band star power, I think both bring a lot to the table.
I know this. My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way is a rock star. He has more rock star power. The Jonas Brothers have more star power. Nick Jonas is married to Bollywood star Priyanka Chopra. Joe Jonas was married to Sophie Turner. They're celebrities. I think My Chemical Romance's music is better, and they have more artistry to them. But the Jonas Brothers, they're on red carpets. I don't think Gerard Way wants to be on a red carpet. He might want to be on a black carpet maybe, because he's so goth. No, he's clearly Gerard Way is doesn't want to be a star. And I think that's part of the charm, part of the lore with him, that a whole generation of people is obsessed with him. I mean, he is one of if not the biggest name in emo, and he doesn't want it. Like, leave me alone. Let me write my comic book show for Marvel, and let me make my really sad music. And the Jonas Brothers are on red carpets and stuff. You can. If you're a real My Chem fan, you can name every member of the band, but it's Gerard Way is so far and away like the guy for My Chem, and the Jonas Brothers have at least two.
At least two.
quick ranking in star power for the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, Nick, Joe, Kevin.
Okay. Would you agree with that?
I was going to put Joe first, but that might be my Taylor Swift world brain and him.
What is the Taylor Swift connection to Joe Jonas? I know it, but for everyone else that doesn't.
That he broke her heart. And what is it? Mr. Perfectly Fine is the song she wrote about him.
27-second phone call.
You just made another case for the Jonas Brothers.
Wait, for breaking Taylor Swift's heart?
If you're a big enough deal for Taylor Swift to write about you. So this, frankly, of all the categories, this is the easiest one for me. Jonas Brothers take star power in a landslide, and that's no disrespect to Gerard Way. You're a rock star, but the Jonas Brothers are Hollywood stars. But that brings us to our last category. We're tied up 2-2. This will decide it. Jersey credentials. Which band is more Jersey? And man, we saved the best for last. Katie B, please make the case for My Chem being more Jersey.
So I have to start out with the My Chem band lore. Gerard commuting home from his job as an intern at Cartoon Network in New York City, witnessing the Twin Towers actually happen, and that being what inspired him to create the entire band. Like, what is more New Jersey than like being in the shadow of the towers falling, like on your way home? It's just like so local. And that being like, to influence his whole career, for him to switch careers as a comic book artist to start this whole band and then it start this like decades and decades long journey. I will say Jeff of Thursday from New Brunswick, New Jersey, also produced their first album. They played shows together. That's just like a whole like basement New Jersey local band vibe. I would also argue a lot of my arguments about being accessible, artistic, like being different is a good thing. Like going against the grain, very misfit mentality is very New Jersey. That's like the whole like, you don't like us, we don't care type of vibe.
We don't like you.
We don't like you. I would say that, yeah, I think My Chem really was like a foothold in the whole like New Jersey, Long Island, like post-hardcore punk scene. It had a similar renaissance to early 2000s Seattle with grunge. So it was like just this perfect cocktail of Jersey suburbia conditions that really fostered like emo music. And like I live in the middle of nowhere and all the houses are the same and we go to the mall and clips of them playing in Convention Hall and the Life and the Murder Scene DVD. Convention Hall is littered throughout the video clips of that. And then finally, I would say that MCR fans kind of like romanticize New Jersey. So if you're an MCR fan and you don't live in New Jersey, you're probably romanticizing about our state. So they're just like an inherently Jersey band.
Very good argument. Very good case. Jonas Brothers, also from New Jersey. Katie, what do you have to say?
I think a lot about this joke online. That's like there's two types of pop punk. There's I love my hometown pop punk and I hate my hometown and want to leave pop punk. And not saying that the Jonas Brothers have ever been like that, because clearly they're doing the whole like like album from your hometown or letters from your hometown thing. But it very much felt like you looked at them and it was like, oh, I could maybe be bigger than New Jersey someday, right? Like Nick got his start on Broadway, and then like all things do, you have to get your siblings involved. And they became kind of bigger, right? Like they grew something out of a lot of the same venues that My Chem grew it out of. The first time I saw the Jonas Brothers was at the Ocean Grove Convention Center in Ocean Grove, which is like just a bananas place to see this band that's now playing, MetLife. And I think part of being from New Jersey is being able to kind of transcend it a little bit. So it's yeah, I mean, they've got like their Parkway signs. They've got all this cool stuff in their music videos. Like they're just as New Jersey as My Chem, maybe a little more business savvy because they know a lot of other people don't like us, and so you got to kind of like get bigger than New Jersey if you want to sell records to like other states
bigger than
in the
New
country.
Jersey.
But yeah, I mean they're New Jersey. People just like to pretend they're not from basements because they're big and like handsome.
Very good points made. As I think about this, the first thing, when I did a little research about the Jersey connections here, both of these bands played at Bloomfield Ave Cafe in Montclair, which was my home venue growing up. I think that's such a beautiful fact that New Jersey has had venues like that, where a band like My Chem and a band like Jonas Brothers, which are like, if we're comparing these two bands, they're so different. They're like, obviously they're huge, obviously they're very popular, obviously playing the biggest venue in the state, one of the biggest venues in the world, but they're so different. And the fact they would both play at this, Bloomfield Ave Cafe was a shithole. It was our shithole, but man, it was terrible. And I love that very much. My Chem got it started playing basement shows and VFW halls around New Jersey. they were a product of the New Jersey emo scene, and of all the great things to come out of New Jersey, emo music is one of the best. The Black Parade release show was at Vintage Vinyl in 06, RIP Vintage Vinyl. That's as Jersey as it gets. Meanwhile, I mean, obviously JoBros had some humble beginnings, but they eventually were touring with Kelly Clarkson, the Backstreet Boys, the Click Five. No shade for all those bands. I was listening to the Click Five on the way over here because it came up on Jonas Brothers. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. A little less Jersey cred there. My Chem's from Belleville. Jonas Brothers from Wyckoff. I don't think either of you said that. I mean, Belleville feels a little more Jersey to me than Wyckoff. That's a tough one to call. The Jonas Brothers also had Jonas Kahn at American Dream. You were there, right?
I was there. It was something.
It was something. But I think it's very cool to not only take kind of an homage to the mall concert circuit that so many bands played, but also to just take over American Dream. Also, Kevin Jonas is married to a former hairdresser from Denville. That's real Jersey to me. I feel like I'm ready to make a decision, but before I do, let me hear a final argument from each of you on why your band is the biggest band of the 21st century. Katie B, you first.
The biggest band of the 21st century,
yeah.
or the
why they should win this debate? Why rest your case.
All right. I think I made a lot of good points that I would pick up. Sorry.
You're good. Don't worry. This was. Look, we could also just cut. If this segment doesn't work, this segment doesn't work.
Okay.
I wanted to give you an option.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to cut this segment, actually.
Yes, please.
Sorry.
No.
I was like, I don't know what else I'm going to say.
No. You guys. Give me 5 long spiels and then a surprise one at the end. No. You both, look, Katie B, Katie K, you both made very, very compelling arguments for the Jonas Brothers, for My Chemical Romance. This is splitting hairs. Both bands have represented New Jersey magnificently. But for me, when it comes down to it, if we're talking about musical influence, if we're talking about live performance quality, and if we're talking about Jersey credentials, it's got to be My Chemical Romance. I got love for both bands, but as the judge, jury, and musical executioner, I have to give the edge to My Chem. I forgot to. I mean, the fact that My Chemical Romance is bringing Thursday to play MetLife Stadium. I mean, you mentioned Jeff Rickley in your argument. Jeff Rickley produced their first album, and they're still close to this day. And the thought of, I mean, Thursday is my favorite Jersey band, maybe just favorite band ever. Hence the shirt. The idea of Jet Black New Year being played at MetLife is wild to me, and that doesn't happen if it's not for My Chem saying, "Hey, let me bring one of the biggest Jersey bands ever to play this big venue." I love both these bands very much. That's not true. I love My Chem. I have respect for Jonas Brothers. But I love both of you for coming on this podcast. You guys made excellent arguments. Thank you so much for being here. But before we let you go, I got to run you both through the Garden State Gauntlet. Jonas Brothers and My Chemical Romance editions. This is going to be fun. I'm used to doing this with one guest. Doing it with two is going to be tricky. But these are rapid fire questions about the bands that you just defended. Are the Katie's ready?
Ready.
Probably.
Katie K, favorite Jonas Brothers song?
Take a breath.
Katie B, favorite My Chem song?
Famous Last Words.
Favorite. Okay, you guys know who you're repping. Favorite Jonas Brothers album?
Self-titled.
Favorite My Chem album?
3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge.
Favorite Jonas Brothers member?
Kevin.
Whoa, that's an upset. Favorite My Chem member?
Gerard Way.
I mean, that's kind of that's like taking Derek Jeter. Favorite Jonas Brothers memory?
Is interviewing them at American Dream for my job here at NJ.com a cop-out?
Well, not at all.
Perfect. That's my answer.
Well, tell me about it. Was it cool? What was it like?
Yeah, I mean, it was like 10 or 15 of us and we had maybe like 15 minutes of media availability. You know, it was not like some deep one-on-one, like tell me your deepest secrets kind of deal. But it was cool being the only Jersey outlet there because I got to ask very specifically, like, what does it mean to be playing MetLife? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was a lot of, it's our dream venue and it's like the biggest thing ever. But inside I'm dying. I'm like, I have to remember how to like speak words and like do my job here because I also like love you. But it was cool.
That's a fantastic memory. Do you have a favorite My Chem memory?
Well, I did get to meet Frank, shout out Frank again, when he played Asbury Lanes a couple years ago with Ellis Dunes. So that was super cool. But I think it's kind of like more of a fun fact than a memory. But when the band broke up in 2013, it was actually on my birthday.
Damn. That's a terrible birthday present.
Yeah. So weird fact, not a great memory.
Right,
but they got back together.
No, they got. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Katie and Katie for joining us. Katie Kausch, where can people find? Where can they follow you? Or do you have anything to plug, et cetera, et cetera? I think I know where you work.
Yeah, so I work here with you. You can find me at Katie Kausch on X.
Twitter,
are we
whatever.
calling it X? What are
I
we
don't
calling
know.
it
I
here?
don't
Whatever.
know.
On the Bird app.
The Bird app. Bird up.
Or if you Google Katie Kausch, NJ.com, you can see everything I do.
Katie Burke, is there anywhere people can follow you?
My Instagram is KatieFay3. I have no major plugs. I would say keep listening to Jersey's Best podcast. It's a great podcast.
Oh
That's
my
plug.
goodness! I changed my mind. Just kidding. My Chem still wins. That was so kind of you. Thank you so much. Oh wow. No, this was so much fun. I knew this was going to be a fun episode, but you guys both really brought it. I'm excited. I'm not going to either of these. Wait, hold up. Which shows are y'all going to?
I'm going to both the New Jersey and Philly shows.
For My Chem?
For My Chem, yeah.
Which shows are you going to?
I do feel like I should plead the fifth here.
The case has already been made. It's over.
I am going to the My Chem show and not the Jonas Brothers show.
Well. Had that come out earlier, the result would have been even more emphatic. Thank you so much to our audio producer, James Shapiro, our video producer, Dwayne Uzaro, our executive producer, Bobby Olivier. Thank you to Schmutzadels for our theme song. If you have questions, episode ideas, guest suggestions, any thoughts at all, please email us at jerseysbestpodcast@gmail.com. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. Really important for new podcasts. We're trying to get those reviews. It's 5 stars, please. And please consider subscribing to NJ.com. There's a link in our episode notes. New Jersey needs high-quality journalism, and our journalists need you. Tune in again next week for the latest episode of Jersey's Best Podcast. And remember, Jersey forever.